Hello and welcome back to all of you, my gardening family. This is the Glades Garden Girl over here in Zone 10A, Florida. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how we can successfully propagate and grow rosemary. So guys, when getting a piece of rosemary to propagate, you want to get a piece that has a very tender area like this and white. See this part here? These are actually new growth on the plant. Look at it carefully. You will cut it like right here. Y'all see this? Look at it. So this is the white section that you are going to cut. You're going to shave the leaves from the bottom section. And this is the part that you're going to put in the soil or in some water. Let me grab a few more pieces. So there is actually two ways that I use to propagate my rosemary plants. After cutting the plants, the very tender part of it, as I stated before, I will just shave the leaves from the bottom section, put it in some water, and then put it in a cool area and wait for the rosemary to start putting out some roots. The next method that is the most successful for me is when I put the cuttings in some soil. I can either put them in small pots and place them in an area and wait for them to start growing, or I would just stick them all over the garden in areas that does not get a lot of sunlight, because guys, I have learned from my mistake. And in my former years when I used to grow rosemary, I usually stick them where there was like full sunlight, like throughout the course of the day they would be in the direct sun. And can I tell you that the rosemary cuttings, they were scorched, or should I say burnt, or should I say toasted, or should I say fried, but they were dead. Okay. All right, so I just put some in the water, and I'm going to be sticking some in these pots as well. And then I'm going to just tuck them away, as I said, in a little area, and then wait for them to put out their roots. When they are established, I will just take them out, put them in separate pots, and then I can also plant them all over my garden. So while I am potting up my cuttings, let me provide some additional information about the rosemary plant. Rosemary is a perennial herb that can live for many years. In zone 7 or higher, the rosemary can typically survive the winter. In colder climates, the rosemary may need to be treated as an annual and be brought indoors for the winter. It can also thrive with little to no attention. So the rosemary needs at least 6 hours of sunlight per day for it to grow, and full sun in the spring and fall and winter. In the summer, younger plants may need protection from the most intense afternoon sun. And based on what I have observed over the years, the rosemary can actually survive in any soil at all, because this right here, it is native soil. I just cut them and stick them in the soil right here, and look at the roots. They are so big and beautiful. I will be putting these in some individual pots for them to continue growing until I am ready for them. I'm going to be removing these peppers to transplant the 4 rosemary plants that I just took out. So guys, as I stated earlier, the rosemary plant can actually survive with little to no attention at all. But we must also be mindful whenever it comes to watering. Do not overwater your rosemary plant because this can cause root rot and cause your plant to die. So what I recommend, if you're going to water your plants, you can wait until the soil is very, very dry. And you can also do a soil test by putting your finger in the soil. And if it is moist, it does not need any watering, especially if the container is in a cold area, because my containers, I do not water them on a regular basis because where they're at on my deck right now, it gets like minimal sunlight throughout the course of the day, so I do not need to water them daily or on a regular basis. Here are some old rosemary leaves from tea that I drank earlier, and it can also be used as mulch. These are some cuttings that I have been growing for a few months now. Don't remember exactly when I started them, but they are looking so big and beautiful. Look at them. I think they're ready to get their first pruning though. And now this is a very mature plant that I propagated, I think sometime last year or the year before, I really don't remember. But this plant is actually a propagation from the mother plant that I will be showing you in a few minutes. Now I am about to make my rosemary tea, and one of the main reasons why I love rosemary tea is because of the aroma that comes from it when it's boiling in the house. And on top of it, it improves memory. Yes, so if you have a student that goes to school and is having problems with memory to retain things, give them a little bit of rosemary tea. Okay, memory, when it comes to memory, it enhances the cognitive functions according to studies. Rosemary is also anti-inflammatory. It reduces inflammation and it helps relieve pain and swelling associated with conditions like arthritis and muscle strains. So consuming rosemary tea can actually boost our immune system and protect against infections. Now this one is a testimonial, a personal testimonial. It improves hair growth. So you can use the rosemary oil, which is extracted from rosemary leaves and has been used topically to stimulate the hair growth. Some evidence suggests that rosemary tea may also have similar benefits, which is true. And at the end of this video, I am going to be showing you my rosemary tea with some other additives in it that I have been using in my hair, okay? And trust me, it does work. I have seen like a lot of hair growth since I started my lot journey. The first time I retie my hair, I have about 1.5 inch of hair growth. I also use rosemary tea in my hair. I added a little aloe vera to make it more potent. So that is going to be it for today's video. I thank you for coming along with me to learn how you can successfully propagate and grow your rosemary and have it to use for years to come. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.